Interiors.
All right. Well, yeah. No, the inside of the book
Yeah.
I like. But yeah, the cover, I don't know. They picked the worst picture and put it on the cover, I guess. All right, here we go. Take two. All right, guys, how we doing? This is the Marvel Minute. I am Brandon, as always, joined by Trevitt. Trevitt, how we doing, man?
Not bad.
Not too
Not
shabby.
bad.
Coming to you guys late on a Saturday night because I am bound for Orchard Park, New York tomorrow. Watch some Buffalo Bills football. See how much of that I remember. But anyway, we're gonna get Spider-Man number 2. Spider-Man 2 number 3 covered for you guys today, which won the poll this week, and it beat out in a Spider-Man filled week. Renew Your Vows by 1 vote. Venomverse came in 3rd, and then regular Venom came in 4th. With a shabby 12%, and that might have been actually one of my favorite comics this week. So
What, Venomverse or Venom?
Last place. Well, both of them were really really good, actually. So anyway, we're here to talk Spider-Man 2 number 3, and that's written by Brian Michael Bendis. Our art team is Sarah Pacelli, Elisabetta D'Amico, Justin Ponser, and letterer is VC's Corey Pettit. Marvel Comics production, of course, and we're going to get into our blurb, spit the bit, and tell you guys whether you should buy, borrow, or forget this book altogether. To say Spider-Man 2 is heading nowhere fast after 2 issues would be an understatement. This has been one of the most disappointing hyped books of the year so far, and that's saying something for Marvel's output of late. Now, the art is decent, and the writing quality isn't spectacular Spider-Man level bad. But that's not saying much. Anyway, let's see if this issue number 3, picks up a little bit of steam. The series has been lacking and changes at least my mind going forward, and hopefully gets me to reconsider buying this trade to complete my Spider-Man collection. Because it's not looking good right now. No, it's had a rough start. We haven't really gotten anywhere. And this issue's cover doesn't foreshadow anything good happening, really. Not necessarily that wouldn't be interesting, a fight between the 2 Miles, but it just doesn't look good, really. Looks like they picked the worst picture from a panel in the series and made it a cover for some reason. Ironically, maybe, I'm not sure, but it doesn't really look that enticing. But
and
this
it has nothing to do with what's going on.
No, it does. It's absolutely like a bait and switch on you. Because this issue starts off with somebody who's on none of the covers to the series, and that is Kingpin. If we flash back to a much younger, not so fat version of Kingpin, who's being hauled off to jail and experiencing just, the general highlights one may or may not have the pleasure of going through once they enter jail. For example, the one they really take time to showcase is this mess hall scene with this guy named I guess they just dub him Small Hands throughout the issue. He says that's not his name anymore, but doesn't give his new name. So we're gonna refer to this guy as Small Hands. And Kingpin has like 4 dinner plates right in front of his ass. He's just mowing down. And this Small Hand starts coming up, giving him shit, basically for the crime family that he worked for on the outside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really his only problem. He doesn't like who he made money from. And he really gets up close and personal in Kingpin's face and comes off telling him, you ain't shit in here, and it's, different rules, and so-and-so Italian name can't save you in here. So anyway, Kingpin. Rigoletto, is that the one Kingpin worked for?
Yeah, it's the one Kingpin worked for. Which I'm guessing this guy used to like have some kind of business, and Kingpin used to treat him like shit.
Yeah, either that, or I imagine this guy worked for just like a rival family,
Yeah, but when he went inside.
Yeah, he's just being a scumbag to for protection, basically. He gets too close to Kingpin, and Kingpin literally bites the dude's nose clean off his face. Pretty nasty. Yeah, he pulls like a Mike Tyson on him, except not his earlobe. Legit, his like all the cartilage of his nose comes ripping off. Throws the dude down, and then he's sitting there, hands up, just kind of like, oh, what, me? He's got blood all over his face, all over his prison garb. And then I guess they sent him to solitary because we flash forward to 1 month later. And he's got like, you know, kind of like a short buzz cut and some beard stubble. And he gets brought to this cell. And this is when we're introduced to a younger 616 Miles Morales, pre-scars on his face. He's doing some time in prison. I don't know. He did something and didn't rat people out, so he's basically doing the time, right?
Yeah. I think he his cousin worked for the family that Kingpin worked for, and he took the hit for his cousin.
Yeah. So Kingpin's been sent into the prison, and they've got him into this cell specifically to guard over and watch Miles. You know, Miles then hands him over this wad of money. He's like, I guess I should be straight up and honest with you. Small Hands has hired me to kill you. And he's like, you know, nah, dude, that's really no need for me to kill you. You're protecting me and getting me out of here. So Kingpin also mentions basically at one point that there's people working on the outside to get them out of here in like a week or two, you know? So they just have to stay safe for a week. And they've just been completely honest with one another. Kingpin tells him to keep the money he's been hired to kill him with. That's what Rigoletto would have wanted. So Miles keeps the money, I guess. And we flash forward to just, you know, Miles and Kingpin hanging out in the yard, going for strolls. Suddenly, Kingpin's in the shower, butt naked by himself. You know, this is like a scene that's played out in every prison movie ever. When you're in the shower by yourself, you're about to get fucking shanked. You know what I'm saying? I can't even think of one off the top of my head, but yeah, every prison movie I've ever seen, Oz, you know, whatever.
Oh yeah, Oz, Prison Break.
Prison Break. Yep. Every time you're in the shower alone, bad shit happens. That's what happens to Kingpin, because small hands, right? Yeah, small hands sneaks up behind him. And he's got a new prison shank. Kind of looks like a pocket knife or a butterfly knife, actually. He's got some bandage over his nose, and he's been fucking with something because Kingpin notices he's faster, stronger than he used to be, and he kind of gets the drop on Kingpin, gets a few slices in there. Kingpin ends up punching him, kind of separating the two of them for a moment. And as Small Hands gathers his bearings, you know, he's kind of got these glowing eyes. He looks all fucking cockeyed and crazy.
He does look fucking insane.
Yeah, doesn't he? He goes to get one final like death blow in on Kingpin, and he gets rung through with, I don't know what the fuck he gets stabbed with. Can you tell what that is?
It just looks like a piece of wood with nails in it.
Yeah, I can't. I was staring at it earlier. I'm like zooming in on it. I'm like, what's this dude getting stabbed with? Sickle?
Because when it sticks out the front of him, it has like a curved edge to it.
Yeah, it's going straight through him. It's got like kind of a hook ice pick. Well, an ice pick is just straight. It's not even an ice pick. Yeah, it does kind of look like the thing from I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now that I look at it, just long and sword-like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Miles is the one that stabs Small Hands through the chest, opposite of his heart. He kind of goes down and then like reverse swings this knife he has in his hand, which catches Miles in the face. And that's, I guess, how he gets all his scars, even though it looks like he only gets sliced once. It would be, unless the guy went up and came back down. You know, I'm trying to figure out how he got all the scars on his face.
It looks like one slice, but who knows? Like maybe he did go. up and down.
Up. Yeah, I don't know. They said he was faster, so maybe he's like doing a whole Edward Scissorhands cha-cha-cha thing going on there, you know?
Yeah,
Anyway.
they really make it a point to show you his eyes glowing and like all the panels.
Yeah, I didn't really pick up on that the first time. I just thought this dude had powers. I was trying to figure it out until towards the end of the book when you see the MGH pop up. But while this dude's fighting with Miles now, he's distracted, has his back to Kingpin, and Kingpin sneaks up behind him, grabs this guy's knife and breaks his neck, lays him on the ground. That's when they find, like we just mentioned, the mutant growth hormone on him. Just kind of shit the prisoners sling back in the yard to each other, I guess is what they mention. I get.
Excuse me.
He hands it over to Kingpin to what? Like they're gonna synthesize it and start selling it. Is that what I get?
That's what it sounds. That's what it sounds like, because he's like, "There's a fortune to be made here." And you know what? This is like the second or third time I've seen MGH show up in a book lately.
Dude, I feel like it's been in at least once a month that we've been reading. Like, I don't know if they're seeking it for a big story somewhere down the line or something, but like it's just conveniently every drug in the Marvel universe is mutant growth hormone.
Yeah, X-Men Blue, Spider-Man, and it showed up in like one or two other books too. I can't remember which ones. But.
So weird it's in a Spider-Man book. Like any random X-Men book, I'd just write it off as mutant growth hormone. But in a Spider-Man book, it's really weird. But anyway, you know, Miles and Naked Kingpin go limping out of this shower room.
Naked, covered in blood, like.
And this is definitely a lighter version of Kingpin because he's like, you know, getting the football player escort off the field, like one arm under over Miles' shoulder, like normal Kingpin. You're not carrying out of fucking anywhere. You need 11 dudes on each arm. You know what I'm saying?
He's like normally 3-4 times the width that he is here. Like, he looks like a slimmer guy in this book.
Yeah, he really does. He looks like he's in good shape before he got fat, rich, and owned a couple Krispy Kremes, I guess. Anyway, they leave the bathroom, and then we literally at the halfway point of the issue hit the title page. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Damn, that was long.
I know. I'm like, is that the last page that was short, or why is this in the middle of the book? Anyway, we flash 2 years later. Go ahead. What?
No, I was gonna say that shocked me that I was like, wow, because you know you're well into this issue by the time you hit that titles page. So you're like, damn, that was an opening right there.
2 or 3 pages in, like the pre-scene before the credits hit in a TV show or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, we flash to years later. We see Miles just in a nice restaurant and some lady come to eat dinner with him and them just going back and forth. Initially, he's trying to get the conversation about his face out of the way. Kingpin comes over, kind of distracts her for a minute and smooths things over. They start to have a conversation and you kind of get the gist that they kind of dig each other. And then we flash again to a different scene. Looks like Miles and Kingpin kind of working together and taking down these different families now, like consolidating control in their favor. Is that what you got here?
Yeah, they're taking out. I mean, I've actually seen this play out in a couple of TV shows before, where like, you know, the head, and I feel like I saw this in the first Daredevil series. Did he do something similar to this, where he was like a guy who worked for a big mob boss, and then he ends up taking over that mob boss's business?
This whole issue is to me just Scarface. Like I'm reading Scarface in a comic book. Kind of. Like that's what this feels like. A lot of it. But yeah, and after we see them working together, kind of just, you know, getting along and having no issues at all, which is strange. You know, you're waiting for somebody to dick somebody over, see where the bad blood is. They're sitting down to a dinner, and you get the gist that Miles is asking out of this partnership. Like he's like, I just want to take my money and I want to disappear. I don't want anybody to ever find me. I don't want to be like a human being that can be found, my name off everything. I want to go off the grid. And Kingpin's kind of like, I know a dude that can make that happen. And that's how the issue ends.
Yeah. He wants to go live a normal life with that blonde chick, Barbara.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was just a weirdly paced issue for me. I didn't. It's weird that they threw it in. What is this? What, 5 issues?
Yeah, I think it's 5 issues.
They threw it in the middle, and now everything's gonna wrap up in 2. Like I don't know if it feels like the first time our heroes are legitimately going to meet this Miles dude is going to be the time they beat him. Like there's not going to really be, you know what, I've met you. They chased down his plane, but they didn't really know he was on there, right?
I think they knew he was on there. I think that's why, that's why they were chasing him. I think this would have been a better issue 2, because you remember at the end of issue 1 we got the reveal of Miles, like
Yeah.
the 616 Miles. This would have been a nice follow-up to get the origin on the second issue, rather than, I mean, what was the last issue? It was just a waste, right? It was the Taskmaster fight, and then we got like a flashback that we got from the first one.
Yeah, it was a lot of repeating of stuff. Like I feel like they've stretched this out. It was going to be 3 issues, and they made it 5 almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just this thing is so weirdly paced from the title page in the middle of the issue to just being a complete flashback story that doesn't really reveal much about this Miles at all. Like, yeah, he worked with Kingpin, he met some chick, he wants to run away. But then how the hell did he get back in all this shit? And like they have to reveal all that, fight Spider-Man, end that battle. I don't understand what's going on here, I guess. Or it's going over my head, which I don't think is happening, but I just think the story's being told not very well. I don't know what's up with this book. It's very strange. The art is pretty good. I like the art. But this felt like I mentioned earlier, like it really felt like I was reading like a Scarface comic book a little bit. Even the way Miles Morales 616 looks like Scarface essentially.
Like, yeah, he does. He looks just like Scarface.
I don't know. I didn't enjoy it a whole lot. I don't think it's complete garbage. Like I said, I don't think it's spectacular Peter Parker spectacular Spider-Man bad, but it's also not something I'd recommend anybody buy. And like I tried to rationalize it to myself. It's something I want to just collect because I have the first one, but you're almost just from the nothing reveal of the Google search Peter did to now you're really not sure what this Miles dude is even doing in the book. Like it feels like nothing still happened and there's only 2 issues left. So I guess I'm leaning towards forget, I guess. I like the art. I liked a few scenes in the book between Kingpin and Miles and it wasn't real Bendis-y the way it was written, which was nice. But
no, it wasn't.
It's not memorable. I wouldn't recommend anybody really go buy it at all. So yeah, I guess that's why I say forget. What about you? You got any different thoughts? Can you talk me into maybe borrow territory?
I actually I enjoyed this issue. I mean, I think the pacing of the whole entire event is off. It's just weird. Like I said, I think this would have made a better issue 2. I mean, I know at the end of issue 1. I mean, we had the reveal of Miles pretty early on in the book,
and I know at the end of issue 1. Yeah.
Yeah, well, at the very end of issue 1, we had the Taskmaster popping through from the other universe, which was, it kind of threw this whole entire thing. You know what I mean? Because then the next issue we had to focus on was a waste because we focused on them, messing around with Taskmaster, which we didn't get anywhere with that because we didn't get any real information about where he came from, who he is. You know what I mean?
That flash forward scene from the first issue with them escaping on the plane.
Yeah, it was I don't know. It just felt like the first two issues could have been really boiled down to one, and then this could have been a second issue, which explains. I really like how it explains the origin of Miles. It explains why Peter found nothing on the internet when he searched for him.
Yeah.
Um, I liked them getting close in prison. Like this could have been like a little one shot, and I would have really enjoyed it. But it's just I don't know. The whole event just seems like off to me. Like it was rushed or something, or like it's just a cash grab.
Yeah.
The art's really good. I like the way the art looks. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the the origin of 616 Miles Morales. It's been done before. Like a lot of the stuff, a lot of the ideas of what's in this story, like two guys meet in prison, they watch out for each other, they become friends, they get on the outside, they start a business together. I've even seen like, you know, a mob guy who used to work for a boss, ends up paying his bills for him, and
Yeah.
I've seen that in many TV shows. Like, so they're all. I mean, not that any idea could possibly be original in this day and age because everything's been done, but so much there was so much borrowing in this. But all all in all, I did enjoy it for what it was, like the origin and whatnot. I do feel like it would have been a better issue too. Um, it it's really in between a Forget Altogether and a Borrow, but like I don't know if you're interested at all in the origin of the 616 Miles Morales, I'd say maybe borrow it and take a peek, but I wouldn't like buy it. I wouldn't. I'd just forget this event because in the next two issues, like
It's a
what could
fight.
possibly
Yeah.
happen? That's
It's
yeah.
gonna be a
I
fight,
don't
and they're gonna put everyone in jail, maybe.
nothing in a 5 issue series in 3 issues in so far. Nothing has been set up that is making me like dying to want to know what's gonna happen. Like I
Yeah.
don't even know why they're chasing him.
Yeah,
Why he
yeah,
doesn't want to be
I
around.
was just gonna ask you that question. What is everyone after?
I have no clue. I have no clue what anyone's motivation is.
Because
Like
the two Spider-Men in the beginning went to go investigate that light
yeah.
from the other dimension. And they go to that warehouse and it's Taskmaster. And Taskmaster got something for Miles. What did he get for him? And he went to meet him on the plane. Like
I think I don't know if it was it weaponry or something or bombs or something like that because he ended up exploding his truck.
yeah, that's right.
Um,
I don't even know if he got it to him.
but 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 you're right. Like that's all we get. We get him trying to get something to Miles, and then that all goes to shit because both Spider-Men show up, and he ends up blowing it up anyway. And then we get flashes to them like having a fight at the end and chasing the plane. And I'm guessing maybe like they perfected mutant growth hormone, and that's why Miles can like put up a challenge or something because it's two Spider-Men. Like,
yeah. Yeah,
but
there you
I'm
go. The
guessing
mutant growth hormone shit. I
yeah,
forgot
I'm
about
guessing
that.
that's gonna play into the end fight. I'm betting because it's the only way he's gonna be able to keep up with fighting them. Because how is a regular guy gonna fight two Spider-Men? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
other than his wits, but like. I don't know. This the 3 issues in, and nothing's been explained as to why I should give a shit about what's gonna happen.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, just like we're having a hard time even remembering what the point of the fucking overall story is besides Spider-Man, the Spider-Man chasing after this Miles for some reason we can't recall. So it must not be that fucking important to begin with, or that
I'm pretty
spelled
sure they
out.
didn't tell us.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
pretty sure
really
they
think
haven't
they
told us
didn't
yet.
either. I think it's just some like sealed chest or something that we think got blown up, or I don't fucking know.
Maybe Bendis is having a hard time figuring out why we should give a shit, and he's like, "Man, I got to figure this out before 5."
Yeah, the watch him be delayed now. He still doesn't.
You know what it is?
4 and 5.
I gotta say, like his infamous Iron Man is it's okay. His Invincible Iron Man is okay. This and his Spider-Man book, it feels like he just doesn't even give a shit.
Yeah.
The only book, like I feel like he's so bored with everything he's doing. The only thing that is good that he does is Defenders, and it's excellent. And I think it's because he cares about doing that book. But the rest of the books he does, I just don't get the feeling that like he's into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially Spider-Man. Like that book has been crap. And like every issue is a quick read, and it always feels like a preamble to something that never comes. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man!
Yeah.
Like, just do
We've
what you
had
love or don't do it.
prelude. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's happening in that book.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. Now I'm sticking towards forget for this after our discussion there. So yeah, that's what we think of Spider-Man 3 #2. Next week, no vote. We're gonna do Marvel Legacy. We'll discuss that for everybody. Then we'll discuss it probably a little more on the Marvel Madness Comics podcast, where you guys can find us as well.
I can't fucking wait.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So I'm gonna give you the vote next week. I'm gonna list Legacy 3 times. Tell me if you like the top legacy, the middle legacy, or the bottom legacy. And that's the one we'll review for you guys. So party is over on this end. We will holler at you next week. Peace out.
Peace. I was like talking myself.